Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. I'm very excited to talk to you today about IPAY. IPAY is the next largest ETF in our portfolio. Thus far, I have been going through our portfolio and sharing with you some of the different positions we have. So I've done SMH, Semiconductor, QCLN, CNBS, IYC, and then FHLC. So now this is the next largest one, and this is going to be a Fintech ETF, and this is going to give you some exposure to the different financial payments, financial processing, buy now, pay later, blockchain technologies. This ETF, which is why I like it so much, it hasn't been performing thus well, or that well thus far. But it's okay. I'm in it for the long term. I'm DCAing over time, and I want to explain to you a couple things that you should look into prior to investing, as well as take into consideration if you're looking to make an investment in the IPAY. So with that being said, let's get right into it. But please take a look at, once this video finishes, some of the playlists in the description down below. If you are new to the channel, if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for the continued support. And let's get right into it right after this. Alrighty. Wow, look at that light. That sun is. Alright, so let's talk about why we own IPAY and how we got involved and started in IPAY. So we actually made our first investment in the IPAY in January of 2021. So last year, and we've been in it for about a year and a quarter now. We're about into February. And so we've been investing in the IPAY since then. We originally started as $200 a month at the beginning of last year. I had a different portfolio allocation and a different portfolio breakdown, and so I wasn't putting in as much money back then as I am currently now. And so we have upped that from $200 now to $300 a month, as well as we did start in at the beginning of January with a $2,000 investment. So we jump started it with $2,000, did $200 for about the first 6 to 8 months, and then we transitioned to doing $300 a month once we kind of separated our portfolios from a growth portfolio and a buy and hold portfolio. And this is in our buy and hold portfolio. This ETF at the time of the recording has a very expensive expense ratio compared to those out in the market of 0.75%. And since we've been investing in this particular ETF last year of 2021, it did okay. I want to say it broke even, but of course with everything going on right now and whatnot, we are down, I want to say about 10%, 15%. Not too worried about it over the long term. It's given me some great opportunity to be able to purchase this ETF and some shares at a lower cost basis. So I'm fine with it. And again, our time horizon, if you are new to the channel, is 5+ years. On some of this buy and hold stuff, it's 10 to 15 years. So I am totally comfortable, totally confident that over time, this particular ETF is going to do fantastic for us. But in the short term, right now, it is not looking like one of the winners in our portfolio. And so I want to talk to you about the industry. So in general, it's payment processing. In some facet, it processes payments, all the companies that you're going to see within this particular ETF. But then it gets broken down a little bit. So you have your credit cards, you have your payment processors. And when I mean payment processors, I want you to kind of think of like a QuickBooks where businesses have the platform. They send invoices via email or something like that. And then the person pays for that particular invoice via QuickBooks payment on their email. So that's kind of what I'm speaking of a payment processing. You have payment and check distributors. So that's like Bill.com, where such as myself, I own a company. I invoice some of my properties that we do work for, and then they use Bill.com to pay out to their vendors all of their bills and invoices. And what this does, if you're not really understanding or familiar with what Bill.com does, but what this does is help separate the bank account. So for large institutions, and even myself, I have run into this a little bit, but I don't have the scale that it makes sense just yet. But when you're sending out checks to multiple people, all over the place, and you don't know where those checks are going, your check account or your bank account is being shown to multiple people. And once you have that check, it is very easy for you to commit fraud on that check with the bank account and then the routing number. And so what Bill.com and then what Bill Payment does on, Wells Fargo, Chase.com is basically they take money out of your account. They then put it into Chase's overall account, Wells Fargo overall account, and then they pay bills out of that account. And so as the vendor, as the person sending that money, I never have to worry that my account information goes out into the public, because it is Chase's account number that goes out. It is Wells Fargo's account number that goes out, or Bill.com account number that goes out. So if fraud is going to be done, it's going to be done on those guys, and I don't have to worry about it. Now, because of that, I do have to pay a fee, and that is why, or that is how Bill.com makes money. And then the next one, which is getting a lot of interest here, it somewhat kind of died down with so much other things going on with CPI and then this Russia and Ukraine war and things like that. But going into the fourth quarter of last year with Amazon partnership, Walmart partnership, is this buy now, pay later, with the biggest one being Affirm that comes right off the top of my head. But I know it's two or three others that are in this buy now, pay later. And even PayPal, I believe, is starting to talk about wanting to get into it. And what this is basically doing, Peloton, little controversial topic to bring up Peloton right now, but Affirm really got their footing with Peloton and basically being a payment processor that allows a customer to buy a Peloton bike or whatever item they want to buy and break that payment up over a number of months. On smaller amounts, 3 to 6 months. On larger amounts like Peloton, I believe you can take it up to 48 months, charge no interest. And so this gives customers the opportunity to buy some larger ticket items, but pay for that stuff over time. And so it's basically a new age layaway program, except where you get the product up front instead of on the old time layaway is you pay, and once you pay it off, then you get to take that item home. So, all of those different types of companies are in IPAY, as well as they even have blockchain technology. It's not as big just yet, and you are getting blockchain technology through Visa and MasterCard and some of their partnerships that they're making with the cryptocurrency and wanting to start getting themselves involved in cryptocurrency. I haven't, in the research that I have done thus far, seen any true blockchain technology within this particular ETF. But again, it's some of the companies within here. Square has holdings in Bitcoin and whatnot, and so you're getting some of that exposure through some of the companies that are in IPAY. And so, as I've been kind of talking to you throughout this, some of the major holdings are Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Square, Affirm, Global Payments, Bill.com. You're going to see all of that, all of those companies within here, and have a decent exposure. And so the role that this particular ETF plays in our portfolio is somewhat of a offense defense, but it's probably going to end up being a defense. And so if this is the first time seeing the channel and kind of the first time of these kind of videos, I always break our portfolio down into a soccer field and the positions on a soccer team. So you got your offense, your defense, and your goalies. So the offense guys are those that are going to really see that exponential growth, really grow, 15+% year over year for a while. The defense kind of goes back and forth between that 10 to 15%. They are typically already pretty much saturated in the market, yet they are constantly just growing via population growth, via demands in the industry. And then you have your goalie, which is kind of your baseline, and those are typically our dividend paying guys. Those are the folks that are going to give us that 7% year over year with another 2 to 3% in dividend growth, and then compounding that dividend growth by reinvesting in the shares, which helps push that year over year return to double digits and things of that nature. So, like I say, it goes a little bit back and forth, and the reason that it's going back and forth is because depending on how much exposure some of these companies start really getting into blockchain, that can push that actually above that 15% year over year. But right now, just kind of on normal credit card spending, buy now, pay later spending, payment processing, that's probably going to get us somewhere between that 10 to 15% year over year. And so this is a long-term career play. I have no worries in the world. I know that Visa, MasterCard, and or any other company that kind of takes their place is going to be around. Folks are not going anywhere without using credit cards. In fact, we are going more and more to the technology side of using a dollar versus the cash side, which is really in line with IPAY and all of the different companies that are within IPAY. So yeah, and as you see, I have here, I'm reading now off the screen, multiple ways to earn money. So you got the buy now, pay later, you got the credit cards, the blockchain, you got lending. And so I believe it's a very good ETF to have in your portfolio and a good foundational piece, to have some money allocated in this direction to IPAY or any type of fintech type of ETF. And so with that being said, if you have any questions, please shoot them into the comments. Please subscribe to the channel and look forward to seeing you on another video. Thank you so much.